What's up, good people? Welcome back. Welcome back. You're going to be listening to what I'm calling Bernard Riley Reviews. That's right, Bernard Riley Reviews. And you saw the title, so you already know what's going on. A brother who owns a restaurant had to kick some sisters out. Well, he didn't exactly kick them out, but he definitely cussed them out because they were twerking in his business establishment. Can you believe it? But that's actually what happened. So I'm going to roll that beautiful bean footage really fast, or I should say, as I always say, that not so beautiful bean footage. Let's roll it.
I invested a lot of money into buying this building, into developing this concept, so Black people can have somewhere nice to go to, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as a, come on, stop the music, please. Somewhere where our people can feel good about ourselves as a culture, okay? Yeah. No, real talk. And so all this twerking and shit, take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves for how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are twerking on glass here? If you want to do it, get the fuck out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it. No, don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like it, get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
All right. So you saw it there. You got the gist of it. Now, here's the interesting thing here. The most interesting part of it, the part that I'm going to spend the most time focusing on, is everybody's reaction to it. Because I saw this on D.L. Hildelys' Instagram page. He's been giving me a lot of content lately because he's been dropping a lot of jewels on that Instagram page. His reaction to it was kind of messed up. No kinder to it was messed up. And a lot of the reaction to it was messed up because they weren't criticizing the women who were twerking at a restaurant. That's a sit-down restaurant that you sit down and you eat. And yes, you order a drink, there's music playing, but it's not a cabaret. It's not something where, you're not getting up dancing in conjunction with the dining. It wasn't that type of establishment. Clearly wasn't that type of establishment. But people criticize him for dropping the F-bomb, for cursing at the women. That's what they criticized him for. So we're going to be getting into that, but more importantly, something that's near and dear to my heart in this whole situation, something that I talk about all the time, is Black business. I have a theory. I just say a hypothesis. I can't prove it. However, it is my belief that our business class, because we already know that the percentage of wealth that's owned by Black people is very low. The percentage of businesses that's owned by Black people is very low. If every Black business tried to employ as many Black people as possible, we would only be able to employ 4% of our people. And I compare us to other races all the time, even though they say we shouldn't do that. But I like to do it. Hispanic and Latinos, they can employ 8% of their people, so they're doing bad too. So we're not alone doing bad in this country, but that's bad. That's bad. So we got to get that up. And why isn't that up? Before I get into the twerking in that incident and how people reacted to it, I would be remiss if I didn't take the time to say that our business class in this country, I believe they would rather use all their business acumen, their knowledge, their business degree, or whatever they have a degree in, whatever type of education, whatever type of knowledge they've acquired through the course of their life. They would rather use that, whatever they got on their resume, whatever they know, they would rather use that to go work for a company owned by people of European descent before they would actually use all of that same business acumen that they're using to help make some other company millions of dollars, some other company owned by other people, making them millions, in some cases billions of dollars. They would rather go and work that cozy 6-figure job, make $150,000 a year before they do like this brother did and use his business acumen, his knowledge, his insight, his resources, everything he has to offer as a man in this world. He put it into that business. Most of our business owning class that could be hiring Black people, building vertical businesses, building chains, where doing everything that Black community ultimately needs, our business class. They're working for other people, making a good living, living a nice, comfortable middle or upper middle class lifestyle. They would rather do that instead of do what this brother's doing, because if you do what he's doing, you're going to have to get down in the mud. You're going to have to deal with ninjas. And they would rather go work for the other people than have to deal with ninjas. We know the people from other parts of the world who own businesses in our communities, who are selling us, liquor, single cigarettes, fried chicken, 3X t-shirts, and Magnum condoms, single Magnum condoms, behind a bulletproof glass. Our knowledgeable, higher earning, high qualified business class would rather go and work a cozy job, make $150,000 working for other people, than to start a business in the community, hire their own people, and have to deal with ninjas. That part aside, that's my biggest takeaway. But we got to deal with what happened. We got to deal with what happened and what went down. We got to deal with what happened and what went down in the Black social media reaction to all of this, because that's where the biggest problem comes in, and that's where I have my most critical review of all of this. That's where the most critical part of my review is going to come from, because some ignorant women getting up twerking at a restaurant, fine, it happens. There's ignorant people. The ignorant people were corrected. Everybody should have high-fived the person who corrected them. That's not exactly what happened. This is what happened. Where I found this is on D.L. Hildelys' Instagram page. I'll blow up his comment so you can see it as best you possibly can. It says, how can you talk about keeping it classy? Which the brother said in the video where he responded to them. How can you talk about keeping it classy, respecting women, and say get the F out of here? Like I said, if you're old enough and bold enough to stand up and twerk at a restaurant, you're old enough and bold enough to be told to get the F out. But he's saying, how can you talk about keeping it classy, respecting women, and say get the F out all at the same time? Far be it for me to tell anyone how to run their business. In my opinion, the tone is set at the door. You don't see anyone twerking at whatever business he's talking about there. I'm showing my ignorance. I don't even know what business he's talking about there. But he's saying you don't see anybody twerking at that business because people don't twerk at that business. You got to set a tone at the door to get people to understand that at a restaurant where you sit down and dine, so you apparently, for Black folks, have to set a tone at the door for people to understand that you don't stand up and twerk at a sit-down restaurant. For dining in, you have to set a tone at the door so they will know. If they're not told, they just might start twerking. If they're not specifically told that no, we don't do that here. You got to do them like T'Challa. And let them know at the door we don't do that here. Otherwise, twerking is on the table. Now, if you're wondering what that comment is that keeps showing up in bold black letters, and what that actually says, if you're wondering what that comment is that keeps showing up, it's somebody who I believe D.L. Hewley must have got this from. It says, I understand they want to have a classy vibe, but I went there when I visited Dallas, and they straight up serve drinks. Okay, they serve drinks at Applebee's. Nobody's twerking at Applebee's. Hennessy, Dose, and everything else. Okay, he didn't say everything else. He said everything else. His spelling and everything was correct. Okay. Then they play ratchet twerk music Now, I'm questioning that one because that don't look like a place where they play ratchet twerk music, but I'm sure they play, for lack of a better word, black music. I'm sure they play black music that black people listen to, and music that black people listen to. Yeah, it's a good percentage of it that you can technically twerk to, but I don't think that they play full blown twerk music. I doubt they were playing Anaconda by Nicki Minaj. I doubt it, but whatever. I doubt they were playing WAP. I doubt it, but I think they're reaching to try to defend these women, because women can do no wrong. The sisters can do no wrong. And there's plenty of brothers, as we see, who will defend the sisterhood at all cost. He says, then they play ratchet twerk music. What do they expect to happen? They can't restrain themselves from twerking. They can't. If you want a classy vibe, set the tone. Hennessy, dose, slushies, and twerk music does not equal classy vibe. Sorry to tell them. That's what they're going with, that the vibe was not set at the door in the outset. When I'm looking at the scene in that restaurant, I see nothing that says get up and twerk. Nothing at all. So to try to make excuses for that behavior, and more specifically to criticize the business owner, that he has to go out his way almost to the degree of putting up a no twerking sign. And was he only supposed to play slow jams by Luther Vandross to let them know that they're not supposed to twerk at the restaurant? Like, it is silly to give him any criticism at all for him going off on them, letting them know that you don't do that here. Now, I almost got to do this, and this happens sometimes. I almost got to do a midstream update, because from the time that I first saw this until right now, the comment section is swaying the other way now. It's more comments criticizing the women who are twerking and criticizing DL's response to it than what there are people criticizing the owner. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But at first, everybody was going with the narrative that DL ultimately tried to push. Everybody was going with that narrative. So I did see some growth right in the middle, right while I'm making this video. I went back and I looked and I double checked the comments, and I saw a bunch of new comments came in from when I first decided I was going to do this video, and it seems to be going the other way. It seems to be on the up and up. So that's a good thing. Got to look out for business owners. It's hard owning a business in the community. We know how that goes. So this brother did what he had to do, and it's bad when someone like DL Hildelys, who's a brother who has a big platform, who's criticizing this brother, who's fighting for the respectability of his business, DL is running the risk of potentially getting this hardworking brother canceled by social media. And in this social media age, you could have a local restaurant with a Facebook page, and if you get bad press and everybody start canceling you on the Facebook page, your business will suffer, and that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. But in the name to protect the sisterhood's right to stand on his furniture and twerk at a restaurant, they're going to criticize him because he used the F word in response to them standing on his furniture and twerking at his restaurant. That's a problem. But that's all I got. And that's the Not So Beautiful Being footage for you, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, be sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And if you wish to support the channel, the best way that you could do that by becoming a Patreon. The link is in the chat. And once again, thank you, everybody. If you're here already, if you lasted this long, you ought to be subscribed. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, bang the bell, hit the like button on your way out. And once again, I'd like to thank you. We are out of here. Peace.